Hey guys, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to a nothing video. Because I really got nothing planned. I've got an unboxing of a P.O. box that I really don't know what it is. Kind of excited to see that. Let's get the fan on here. The lights on to the figs. So I also figured I would do a room tour of the room as is before the rest of the figures before more figures start depleting, not the rest of. I sold my Hella, my Kate Blanchett. By the way, what an amazing piece as I was putting her in the box. Oh my God. Such a resemblance. It was beautiful. An absolute gorgeous piece. I sold her. The Mark 47 is gone. So those two and the movie promo edition Hot Toys. Movie promo edition Spider-Man from I like to say from all the recent movies because it really is the basic suit, more or less. So it was in Captain America Civil War, it was in Spider-Man Homecoming, it was in Avengers Infinity War, it was in Avengers Endgame, and it was in Far From Home. It's his standby suit. It is the main Spider-Man suit. So I sold those three pieces. Got a lot more up for sale. I put my homemade Spidey up for sale, but I decided to keep his head sculpt, his battle damage head sculpt, and I put that on there. And I think I'm selling him for a very reasonable price considering he's coming without a head sculpt. So from the UK, man, thank you. I'm doing well. Um, my back really was messed up for the last 2 weeks. It feels much better today. I had to lift my wife and help her do things around the house I never had to do before. So I'm really stressed in that regards. Thank you for asking, Ian. So, like I said, it's not much video. Everyone's talking about COPPA, Child Online Privacy Protection Act. Um, hey, awesome! It's going to be a UK day. Essentially, I don't think it really applies to me. I don't believe ever that I was necessarily, I don't believe ever that I was entertaining kids. Kids may find my channel, but these are expensive toys. $300 on the average nowadays, $200 at the start, and most kids aren't dropping 200 bucks on toys. So I don't feel that I'm necessarily directly impacted in regards to this. I might be on the fringes of it, but I'm a small channel as it is, especially after just going to the live broadcast. It really slowed the channel down a lot. But, essentially what happened was, if you guys don't know, I'll tell you, YouTube was trying to make money. So they took the information that they had gathered, because YouTube is owned by Google, and presented it to all the toy manufacturers saying, hey, you need to advertise on our platform because kids watch YouTube. And by them admitting this, the federal government got involved, and they said, so you're gathering information on children without the consent of the parents. And so YouTube, from my understanding, got fined like $170 million over this. So then the FTC and through the guise of the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, and that's why I say COPPA, because child COPPA decided to start investigating channels that were geared towards children because they claim that children can't tell the difference between an advertisement and an informational video. If your video is geared towards trying to sell a product to children without children knowing they're being sold a product, that essentially you're breaking the law. So I don't believe ever that I don't think for 1 second that I was geared towards children. The child in all of us, I mean, hell, I'm buying toys, and so I've never grown up, but I wasn't sitting there like saying or whatever, like talking to little kids or whatever. So anyhow, December 10th is going to be like the big day, and January 1st is like the big enforcement day and all sorts of stuff. So I think a lot of channels are going to be restructured, but I don't believe for 1 second that nothing's going to change here on this end. Well, it's not going to blow over. So in the United States, there are some countries, like from my understanding in UK, in order to watch TV, you have to buy a license to watch TV. And that's not the way it is here in the United States. But the FTC has been involved in television for forever. Matter of fact, there was laws that the federal government forced on television that was broadcasting live over the air that they had to, during certain hours a day, they couldn't say certain words. They had to do public service announcements where they had to provide information in regards to whatever the government felt was necessary to provide to people. They had to monitor themselves, and they were being monitored over content and what was being said and what was being displayed on live television. Now it looks like FTC is getting involved with YouTube, and the government is the government, and they don't look at it like big business does. Well, they don't look at it and say necessarily, this is going to make us a buck or this is going to cost us a buck. They're looking at it as this is what the law says. This is what we're going to make sure happens, and they're not necessarily jerks because of that. But it is the government. And so, no, I don't think it's something that's going to blow over. It's not something where some CEO or big wig is sitting around saying, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They've already hit YouTube up for $170 million. So it's no joke. And but I don't think I'm going to be affected. I don't think I have a kids channel. Now, kids may find the channel because of what we talk about in regards to the characters. But when you go to a Marvel movie, I don't believe it's geared towards kids. I don't believe Avengers Endgame was geared towards children. I don't believe it was, a G-rated movie. So Deadpool specifically was not geared towards children 100% because it was an R-rated movie. So I don't believe I'm not necessarily worried about it, and I'm not challenging the government and saying, "Hey, come check me out." I'm not like that, but I just don't believe that I'm involved in selling or enticing children to watch my channel. So, with that said, if you're under age 13, get the fuck out of the channel right now. Simple as that. Sorry to say it, but you're not allowed to be watching this channel if you're under 13. Simple as that. That's the truth of it. That's how it has to be. So, I'm not getting many chat over here. This thing is just spinning and spinning and spinning. I got two lines, the first two lines of chat. I'm trying to catch it as it pops up here. But that's just the dirty of it. I have a bunch of figures on, not a bunch. I have a few figures on sale, for sale, online. I got my Mark V. I've got my Mark III Secret Project up for sale. I've got the Spider-Man homemade suit for sale. Got the Stanley for sale. Oh, here comes all the chat. All the drama with YouTube. Oh, I ain't kidding you. The copper thing will blow over. No, I don't think it's going to blow over. I'm a big kid too. Yeah, I think all of us are. We refuse to grow up. I see someone else collects in the UK. I feel alone in this hobby sometimes. So do I. And I've got some big YouTubers here that are friends of mine in the area where I live. And people are weird anymore. Sean Long used to live just a few miles from me. He just moved out to closer to the Bay because he claimed he was out of money. And then Shartimus is a friend of mine. He lives a couple hours away, but I've been to his house. We've done things. It just feels lonely. It's not like, go out hanging out and doing stuff. TV licenses over here, I feel the same way. We don't pay anything like that. But it blows my mind when I hear that on television. As the UK needed to watch BBC, the national station, but not for everything else. I see. So, all right, caught up in all the chat. Got some people on the channel. Let's open this up. So one of you all, one of the family, and I don't remember who it was, said, "Did you get my box I sent?" And it's funny, my P.O. box, it's just a little envelope box, but you would think that they would put a little notification in there when a package comes. They don't. So I had to go up and ask them. I'm like, "Hey, is there a box for me?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, here it is." And I'm like, "Gee, thanks." So if you guys send anything, let me know that you sent something so I know to go look for it. So anyhow, one of y'all asked me if I received your box. Here it is. I don't know. I made comment on it last week, so I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say who it is that sent this. And I didn't receive a yay or nay. So I'm going to tell you who sent it. I'm not going to say, I'm going to give their address out. but it's from Franco. M. Franco. Thank you, Franco, for sending this out. Cutting off the return label here. Open it up, see if there's anything in it. So the box says it's a Gin Urso. Gin Deluxe. Now, I have to tell you, I think Rogue One was an amazing movie. It was sad, obviously, because we knew that it was a one and done. You know, there wasn't going to be anything past that. But the character development that was given us, the background that was explained to us, and I think the acting was superb and outstanding. And then to see Darth Vader make his march through that Alliance vessel, which was the beginning of Star Wars, the first Star Wars A New Hope. Oh my God, such power. I mean, I'm literally in tears watching this part of the movie. You know, it was emotional coming up to that point, and then when you see Darth Vader stomping through, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing, because now the story begins. Oh, what a story. What an absolute story. That's, in my opinion, story writing that they should have done with the latter movies. Okay, we got a little note. Oh, a handwritten note. Beautiful. Hi, Siri. I really like your YouTube channel. Thank you. In appreciation of what you do with the collection community, I am sending you this QMX Captain Picard. Whoa! And, oh, man. You once said he is. That's my captain, man. Patrick Stewart. You once said he's your favorite Star Trek character. He is, so I hope you enjoyed this. Wow! Oh, my God, you've just blown me away. Please don't announce who gave this to you. Oh, I hope your wife is doing better and that your lives are starting to get back to normal. Sorry, Franco, I'm sorry. Enjoy, my friend. Live long and prosper. That's right. P.S. This figure is brand new. Oh, what? Never displayed. Only open for inspection. Holy, oh my God. I do not have original shipping box. Dude, don't care. This is, oh, thanks. Holy smokes. Oh my God. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. What an unexpected, oh, jeez. Speaking of tearing up, holy cow. Oh. Well, so we'll be doing Jean-Luc Picard here. Jean-Luc Picard. You know what I like? Someone had said one time when they were explaining the science of Star Trek that the universal translator translates what it is that you speak and translates into the language of whatever it is that you hear. And so, and it happens such to the case that no one even notices it's happening. And it's so funny, and I've commented on this before, that someone had brought up. So you mean to tell me that Jean-Luc Picard was speaking French the entire time? Think about that for a minute. Think about that. Every Star Trek The Next Generation episode, you would have to believe that Jean-Luc Picard is literally just speaking to us in French. Now, of course, the question came back then, what about all the French words that he would say, or French sayings that he would say? There are phrases that we use in language that translate and stay as they are, because they are. For instance, c'est la vie. C'est la vie is a huge French translated, a huge French saying that we don't translate. You know, it says that's life, but just saying it in French says so much more than just saying, yeah, you know, that's life. C'est la vie. So the universal translator obviously would know that and wouldn't translate it over. And that would be why whenever they would speak French, it was because in those instances, the French would be more beautiful left as it is, or says more of a point. Oh my God, yeah, Jean-Luc Picard, that's my guy. Jean-Luc. I've not seen any of the new Picard. I'm assuming it's out now. This thing's full of accessories. Look at this. He's lit up with all the stuff. He's not lit up. Oh man, thank you very much for this. I've seen some of the QMX stuff. It's, oh, God, I'm blown away. Thank you so much. The suit's cloth. It appears to be the right colors. The communication device is the right shade. One of the things that they do whenever people sell these is they make them shiny. They're not shiny. They are definitely a matte or a dull finish. The communicators are. This is his uniform that he wore most of the time. From like season 2 on or 3 on. It's got the little cutouts. Triangular cutouts of the uniform there. The little foot's a little loose. Snap it in. He looks like he's properly, what's the word I'm looking for? Da Vinci. He looks Da Vinci sized properly. He looks like he's supposed to be. His arms look to be the right size. You know, the complaint with the first Colossus from the first Deadpool movie, when they were making the movie, they used, I think it was like 3 or 4 people to make the person Colossus in regards to the actor that was there, who has had the motion capture on him. And then, of course, needless to say, the graphics people who graphicked him. And then, of course, the voice actors and whatever else. But one mistake that they made is they made him like, gosh, I don't know, 8 feet tall. Okay, he's big. Maybe he's really tall. And the problem is that the actor that was playing Colossus in the movie had stilts on his feet to make him that height, whatever height it ended up being. And unfortunately, that made his arms short. They didn't think to stretch his arms out. So when he's dragging Deadpool around and whatever else, the arms that you see are the arms of the actor, and his arms weren't, you are as tall as you are wide. If you fingertip to fingertip, that's how tall you are. So your arms should be proportionate to your height based off of that. And they didn't do that. And when the first Colossus was made, they, in my opinion, kept it so accurate that even his arms are the length that they were in the movie. So when you're looking at the first Colossus, you're like, something doesn't look right. It's because he's not properly proportioned. Looking at Jean-Luc here, he appears to be properly proportioned. I bet you if we were to measure his arms, it'd be his height. So we've got about 11 inches, and he's almost 12 inches tall. So, but we don't have his fingertip to fingertip. So, but he looks right. He doesn't look like he's out of proportion. And I say this because this is the first QMX figure I've ever had. Don't know anything about the figure design that they make, and I was curious to see how that played out. I don't feel a butterfly joint in here, just a shoulder. So I don't feel the shoulder able to move forward and back. The pips, his captain pips look more copper than gold. He's got a little piece of plastic around his neck. Some little paint wear from the collar. It's transferred to his neck. I'm gonna keep the plastic off. He's never gonna come out of this outfit. That's the connection there. What a treat. Holy smokes, thank you for this. Jean-Luc Picard. You know, it's funny, when the Next Generation came out, it was a big, total, like, different white to us from the original series. Original series was a little more swashbuckling, if you will, a little more action. The captain was the sexy one. And it's almost as though the Next Generation was a little more diplomatic. And I think probably everyone will agree in that. It wasn't as much swashbuckling, a little more mind gamey. And Picard wasn't necessarily the sex symbol that James T. Kirk was. I think Riker was supposed to be the sex symbol. My wife thinks Data's hot. But yeah, Jean-Luc Picard is my captain. Out of all the captains, he's my captain. That's my ship. I don't feel an ab crunch. I just feel like a solid body here in the waist. But we definitely have the joint in the waist. I just don't feel one at the chest. There may be one. I just don't feel it. Great ankle pivot. I mean, if we could put him straight into some type of a submissive pose easily, if needed to be. There are 5 lights. Oh, Picard. You know, when he lived that whole life, that Resican, I think, was the planet or the people, where that satellite zapped him and literally put an entire life into his head. That dude lived a life and lived a life. He lived a life. He lived an entire life on that planet in just a matter of seconds. And what an amazing episode. Then, of course, when he was captured by the Cardassians and their torture of him, you know, shining the lights on him and asking how many lights he's seen. And I don't remember what the number of the lights were, but they were like showing him 5 lights and they would say there's 3 or something to that effect. And it was just a total mind game that was going on. And he refused to listen to them. And then at the end of the episode, it was very powerful. He gets back on the ship and Counselor Troy gets with him and says, you know, we understand the Cardassians they're really horrible in the way that they interrogate and torture people. And if you want to talk about it, and he looks at her and says, I saw 3 lights, or whatever it was. You know, they literally had gotten to him. They broke him, but he never let them know that they broke him. He would still tell them, there are 5 lights. So he kept his capacity. And then he became, what was it, Loke, I think was his name, when he became the Borg. Holy cow. Picard was such, and what an amazing actor. I love seeing Patrick Stewart in different episodes. We watch a lot of Frasier, love Frasier, and he was on Frasier the other day playing an opera. I think he was a composer or something. Patrick Stewart, what an amazing actor. Amazing actor. Absolutely amazing actor. I like it when he played the king in Robin Hood, in the Robin Hood movie. All right, so we have, obviously these are some type of relaxed hands. Slash kind of holding hands. We have 2 fists that won't hold anything. The fists are tight, super tight. We have a straight up, finger straight out, relaxed hand. And believe it or not, this could almost be a salute. Even though I've never seen them salute that I remember in the Next Generation. I imagine that they possibly would have saluted. Who knows? We have a left hand that's very much like the right hand, which is kind of relaxed. It's probably the most relaxed hand. If you were to say your hand is not doing anything other than just hanging out, that would probably be it. Your hand hanging out. What a way to describe it. But this is, you know, if you're just putting your hand out, your first finger kind of sticks out further than the rest of them, and the others just kind of curl right around. It's So we actually have two of these. Or this is the left one, and the other one is the right one. And the right one's actually on him right now. And this is kind of a point, only not. He's like pointing, but he's not pointing. It's straight, but not straight. It's kind of like like the hand of God. Just God's putting all of his effort out in the painting, and man's just, here's my finger. This is a holding hand. It looks like it could be perfect for a phaser, perhaps, or maybe even the coffee cup or tea, actually. Earl Grey, hot. And this one is perfect for the pad that he holds. He has an engineering pad here. And then all these are right hands, except this relaxed left hand and the fist. And then we have the right fist. So then I'll show you accessories. It's a lot of accessories. It's all the accessories you would expect to see with a Starfleet officer. I like the coffee cup. Actually, it's tea. I keep calling it a coffee cup. I had a set of these in real life. And they're pretty cool. I don't know whatever happened to them. They're long gone. But here's this tea, Earl Grey hot. And it's actually solid inside of there, all the way up to that line. And these are little, like, Pyrex glasses. This is like, in real life, it's a plastic handle that snaps around these glasses and just holds it. And I had a set of these I bought specifically because of his tea, Earl Grey hot. And here's a pad, and the red ones are engineering pads. It's interesting that they gave him a red one. But the red ones are engineering pads, and I have a pad. I have some of these that are fan created. People would claim they're from the TV series. I have a hard time believing it because I've never seen any of the things that I'd bought that people claimed were TV series in the TV. So, because I watch all the episodes and I'm looking for these pieces, and I never seen any of them. But I have a pad. Supposedly was from the show, but I have no COA. I think it was literally just a fan-made pad. Did a really good job of it, but he'll hold it perfectly well in his hand there. Tea Earl Grey hot. We'll hold in this hand. Tea Earl Grey hot. I have Earl Grey tea. I bought it only because he drinks it. Not a favorite of mine. I like my tea sweet, sweet, sweet. This is the little case that they wear on their hip that holds the tricorder. And he has come with a standard tricorder. Really cool here. It comes actually in two pieces that are, you can use a magnet to put them together, or you can fold it up. Either way. Really cool. So that's it, folded. All right. And then you just separate the two pieces literally apart. Take the two pieces apart, and then you can then put it together. And let's get some glasses here, see if we can figure out what the data is on here. I remember when they had the other doctor, Catherine Pulaski. She had no respect for Data, and she would continually call him Data. And it was funny. He was like, my name is Data. She's like, Data, what does it matter? He goes, one is my name and one is not. Can't really tell what the data is on here. Really cool. Could be anything. I have a few tricorders that I've bought. I tried to make them light up properly. There's the top of that tricorder. Okay. So there's the top of it. And there's the inside of it. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So we can fold this up and then just stick it right into the little case there. And then I would imagine that this will let's just attach to his waist someplace. Imagine. There we go. Look at that. Oh, God. This is the Dust Buster. They had a couple of next generation phasers that they used. Originally, they had these little bitty teeny weeny ones, and they quit using them because they weren't very able to be seen well on screen. But those could be hidden in the cuffs of his pants. You could take them on diplomatic missions without them actually being recognized as a weapon or even seen. They could be concealed. So this one they called the Dust Buster because it looked like a little dust buster. And they came out with one a few years later. I think they called it like the Dolphin. That's what the newer one was called. But I like the Dust Buster. The Dust Buster is my favorite phaser, if you will. And it as well comes with a little holder for it. Oh, what a joy. Oh, my wife's going to get a kick out of this. I can't wait to show her. So I'd imagine this as well will snap on the side. So actually I'm going to put his, I think he's a righty. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, wait a minute. If he's a righty then, we'll put this on this side. Yeah, I just assumed that they were going to snap on there. And sure enough, they do. Look at that. There you go. Now he's ready for an away mission. Ah, jeez. What a treat. Thank you so much for this. Oh, this is what an absolute treat this is. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, what a treat. Jeez. Thank you. All right. Oh, God. I don't know what to say. Thank you. I'm pretty impressed. Thank you for the gift. Oh my God, thank you so much. You're too kind. You guys are awesome. All right, so let's get back to chat. Jean-Luc Picard, the Starship Enterprise. What I like about Fraser is Fraser was a captain, if you remember, on one of the, I think like a Reliant class ship or something to that effect. I don't remember which one it was, but he was in the movies. I think is where Fraser was. Kelsey Grammer. So I love the Star Trek references that they have of Noel. If you've ever watched the show, I love watching Frasier. We've watched it all the time. It's like the go-to. Frasier just comes on more or less. We watch it all the time. But he's had a lot of Star Trek references in it, of course, and he's had Patrick Stewart on there and Data. Help me out. My mind is drawing complete blanks of these people's names, but he's had so many of the actors who starred in Star Trek on the show. So this shows we've got the exclusive version that came with the rifle. The rifle's very rare. Hardly ever do you ever see it in the episodes. I wouldn't be comfortable posing Jean-Luc Picard with the rifle, but there enough. There's everything that we just went over in the instruction manual. And what a piece, man. I tell you what an absolute piece. QMX. They've nailed it. Did a great job. Beautiful likeness of him. Beautiful likeness. And I need to watch the Picard. A little scared because I'm not too pleased the direction that Star Trek's gone of late, just like Star Wars. I'm a little worried about the direction Marvel will go on into the future. But that is that. All right, what did we miss here? I have the original Star Trek figures. I was on the fence about Picard. What do you think? It's a definite. If you are a Star Trek fan and Picard means anything to you, this is a definite. This is a fact definite. I mean, looking at him, I'm just going to pick this up and bring it to him. I mean, there's no question about who this is. Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise. It's so funny. He looked so much older than he is because of his hairline and the color of his hair, and it just made him give that command appearance automatically because of that. And he just like Steve Martin, he's not an old man at the time when they first started filming these way back in the early '80s, late '70s. I don't remember what year, first year when it came out. The Next Generation, but it's 30 years ago, and he now age has actually gone on him. I don't know how old he is. It's not important, truthfully, but he always just gave that appearance of someone who knew what he was talking about. He spoke with authority, and I think did a good job conveying that with this. I mean, I don't look at him and see anyone else. I don't look at him and think, oh, I have no idea who that's supposed to be. That's Jean-Luc Picard. His eyes are kind, thoughtful, and commanding all at the same time. Look at the shine in his eyes. Love that. I love that when they put such attention to the detail of that. So it's my first QMX figure, and I'm not disappointed whatsoever in the quality of it. It's a definite if you're a Star Trek fan, and especially Next Generation, and Picard's your guy. You know, he's the captain of the ship. And you have to have your captains, right? If anything else, you have to have the captains. If you're telling the story, it's all about the captains. Picard definitely took the flagship, which the Enterprise 1701D was the flagship of the fleet, and commanded it well. Always wondered why Riker never really left the ship. QMX are very good. I agree. I agree. Is his name and rank on the bottom of the stand? Let's have a look. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Star Trek Next Generation QMX Master Series, trademark and copyright 2016, CBS Studios Inc. Star Trek and related marks and logos are trademarks of CBS Studios Inc. All rights reserved. www.qmxonline.com, 2016, Quantum Mechanics Inc. There you go. In case you were uncertain as to what the character was, it is on there. And the crotch grabber is fine for him. He obviously stands up perfectly well on his own as well. If that makes any sense. So he doesn't need this. You can set him however you desire. See if we can get him into a Put him in an archaeological dig pose. Stands on his own. Not wiggling around. Put him into looking at something. Little straps on the bottom of his pants goes underneath his feet. Keep his feet as they are. He moves well, but he doesn't feel loose. He'll hold his pose. Unlike some of the older Iron Man figs, after a while, you try to plank them, they just jellyfish all out. He's a well figure. Well crafted. Like I said, I don't like the pips. I think they're too coppery. I think they should be more gold. Other than that, he works 100% for me. 100%. What a beautiful fig. Thank you very much. Oh my God, thank you. What a beautiful piece. Oh man. He's my man. Cisco's an amazing, Captain Cisco's an amazing captain. He's a total badass, willing to destroy an entire planet to fight the Maquis. But Captain Picard, you know, he's the guy you would like. If you could choose a granddad, he would be my granddad. I had great grandparents. I had great granddads. And Picard would be a good granddad. My granddads were straight from the television shows, you know what I mean? They were what you expect a granddad to be. I was very lucky with my granddads. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you're a QMX fan, I do not think you will be disappointed at all if you were to pick this figure up, or a Star Trek fan. 100%. All go. So, I was watching the Landspeeder video that Joost made, where he unboxed one, and he claimed that there was supposed to be a plaque in the box someplace. So I disassembled the entire box. There's no plaque. I'm going to shoot him a message and say, hey, where's my damn plaque? He says that in this video, I haven't talked to him yet. He says that these are supposed to be loose because you're supposed to adjust the toe of them. The toe is a term that we use in adjusting of tires in cars to determine how far in or out you would do your front steering tires. So you adjust your toe in or toe out to make the tires straight. And he claims through his examination of the movies that the engines were toe in, or they would be toe in or toe out. And that's why he claims that these are as loose as they are. And they literally just fall clean out. So something's got to be put on these to keep them in position. It won't very easily. A lot of times what you can put in there, all sorts of anything. Sometimes just wrapping a piece of paper around this, anything to give it thickness to make it stay in place. But he claims that it's designed to go in or out based off of how it was in the movie. So the figure, this is made exactly how he claims it to have been made, because I watched the video on this. But this is just filthy. Here where it attaches to the body, this canopy, well, it's not really canopy, this windshield or windscreen is just filthy with fingerprints and all sorts of muck from the guys that put this in. That's just very sloppy. Very, very sloppy. Really, really bothered by that a lot. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. A huge, huge glue fingerprint right there on the windshield from the person that put this together. And then that entire area where the windshield meets the body all the way around is just muck with glue residue as they were attaching it into it. So the people that assembled this, I don't believe he assembled these. People that assembled this really just did a really poor job at it. And it really bothers me a lot that was how this was delivered. You can see that fingerprint right there. That's a glue fingerprint. So they had glue on their finger and they touched this windscreen as they put it in. And that's very unfortunate. It really bothers me a lot. Not sending it back. I'm not going to not display it because of it. I'm no master modeler myself, but it's really bothers me a lot. So, but I'm pleased to have this. What an amazing piece. I haven't shown my wife yet. She would have a shit because I'm selling my figures to pay the bills. She doesn't think I should be buying any figures. She doesn't want me to buy any figures ever again. Ever. She thinks that I should stop buying figures. That's not going to happen. Denobi said that he got contacted from Sideshow that his Mark 7s are coming. I've not received any notification myself. I've got 2 of them on order, so I'm going to have to find some money for those. I know the Hot Toys R2-D2s have been shipping worldwide, so I imagine I'll be getting notification on one of those in a few weeks. And also I noticed that someone was selling their negative suit Spider-Man. So evidently that's now shipping, and they had a picture of the brown shipper saying it's ready to ship now. So evidently that's coming out soon. So that's another $1,200 of figures that I've got no business buying. But no, I'm very happy to have this. Star Wars is a big deal. But he claims that these are loose, so you could have a toe in or a toe out. Toe in, toe out. But they don't stay. I mean, they fall clean out easily, especially this one on the left side. It totally just falls out there. So I have it in there, just giving it a wiggle. Pops it out. This one stays a little better. This comes right out. But I'm pleased with it. It kind of scares me in regards to buying the Vulture, or you guys that are getting the Millennium Falcon cockpit coming. I mean, what an amazing piece it would be, the Millennium Falcon cockpit. But if the quality is as such, just know it's not hot toy quality. Simple as that. If you're cool with that, and you're not capable of building one yourself, I couldn't make a Landspeeder, then you're pleased with it. Hot Toys didn't make it. Hot Toys will never make it, more than likely. So this is it. If you want a Landspeeder, if you want a cockpit for your Millennium Falcon, then you gotta go with what's available. And this is cool in regards to that. I mean, I had the Landspeeder from back in the day when Kenner was making these, from the 70s when I was a little guy, and I loved it. So in case you're curious, from front to back, looking at almost 28 inches, and side to side, looking at 16 inches, if that helps you in knowing how much space you need. Really long. It's really long, but it appears to be the correct size. And what Joost said as well was that, and we'll just use Jean-Luc here, stick off his little tricorder and phaser. He says what to do is to take the steering wheel out first, okay, and then to slip the figure in. Now, what he also said was that depending on the shot is going to determine how far Luke is supposed to be in the seat. He says in some shots Luke is up high, just as you see here, okay, and he's over the literally over the windscreen. All right. So what Joost says to do, because in other shots his shoulders are way down here. Joost says to take off his feet and then shove him all the way up in there, and that will put him with his head below the windscreen. I'm not taking off Jean-Luc's feet to do that. And then he says after you put him in there, instead of trying to put this into the panel again, just put this in his hands and just have it however you can get it to look like that. And that's how he says he recommends posing this with Luke in the driver's seat. So if you guys are getting one or ever plan to track one of these down, that's how you would pose it with Luke. And I intend to get a Luke one of these days. It's no rush. But that was the whole purpose of this. In my opinion, it tells so much of the story. It really does. There's no question about what this is and the stories involved in it. It's funny, I've seen a fan-made video, I think it was a video, of the story of Star Wars from the viewpoint of the stormtroopers. You know, it was a video. It was like they were the ones that were responding to domestic relations in regards to Uncle Owen and his aunt, where Luke was living, and how Luke had stormed off and the cops were called and they were the cops. It was so interesting, a different take on it, you know, in regards to how things went down in the movies. It's so funny. And it was done like as if it was a Bad Boys Cops type video. Really cool. Really interesting take on things. So let's do a little room tour here. Let me check on chat. My Mark 7 coming this week, next 3 days. There you go. So you guys are getting contact. Nothing. I've told you guys time and time again, I'm like the last person on the planet to get these pieces. WTF. For real. I paid by deposit. I don't like hot coffee. I don't like anything hot. So literally, I don't put ice in my coffee. I will if it's hot. So if somebody made hot coffee, I want the ice in it to cool it down. But truthfully, the coffee I drink is day-old coffee. My wife loves hot coffee. She loves fresh hot coffee. She loves the taste of coffee. To me, coffee tastes just like absolute dirt. For real. Just take some dirt, grab it, and put it in your mouth. That's what coffee tastes like. And I can't drink straight black coffee. It literally tastes like dirt. I've eaten dirt in my life, obviously. You know, playing any type of sports, or you're going to eat some dirt, and I know what dirt tastes like, and that's what coffee tastes like to me. So I have to flavor my coffee. I put Torani sugar-free chocolate and Torani sugar-free raspberry in there. That's how I normally like my coffee. And then I put a little splash of liquid in there to make it light colored. So that's my flavored coffee. It tastes like chocolate milk. So let's move on to the room. What I'm using today is my backup battery, so I'm not confined to the length of the power cord. And I think I'll attempt to switch the camera around. There you go. Beautiful. So I should be able to see your conversations as well, so you guys want to talk. So here at the channel as I'm filming this. Oh my gosh, Jean-Luc and a Landspeeder. Right? That's right. People are starting to flip in their graves over this. This is my Avengers shelf. Essentially, it's anybody that was or is an Avenger at one point or another. And so we have the King, T'Challa, and the way I remember whom is who in regards to T'Chaka and T'Challa His K comes before L. His father is T'Chaka. He is T'Challa, K-L-J-K-L. That's how I remember. And this was a head sculpt that was made by a third party. I don't know who it was that made. Sorry, I don't remember. Hot Toys did not release a head sculpt with this figure, and I'm really pleased with that head sculpt. Looks like Chadwick Boseman a lot. So I have him with his helmet in his hand. It's a great way to pose this figure, in my opinion. And I love this figure. It's a great figure. Right next to him, we have Black Widow Civil War. And next to her, we have Rhodey in his Mark 4. Help me out, guys. I think that's the Mark 4. Beautiful diecast. These guys are amazing. Got all the War Machines on order. This guy's so beefy. Digital camo. You can barely see it digitized into that. And right next to him is the Mark 46. Right here. Up against Captain America. What do I think of Vision? I wish they made more than just the one Vision. I wish they gave us a Vision as he gets killed. You know what I mean? The gray Vision. There's only just the one Vision that was ever made. And I love Vision. Paul Bettany. Such an interesting story of how he got that. You know, he was trying to get a job, and he was just at the end of his ropes. Tom Holland there, in their classic upside-down Spider-Man pose. But he was like on his last... He was giving up over the whole thing, you know? And he got the phone call to do this, and he was just doing voicing for Jarvis for those first few movies. So it was really cool to him transitioning over to the character. They didn't have to do that. They could have just left him as the voice and then chose a different actor for the portrayal of Jarvis / Vision. They didn't. I really appreciate the fact that they were able to transition him over. Scarlet Witch, I believe this is called her new Avengers outfit. And right back here we have Maria Hill. Great character. I'm happy to see that they gave her a piece. You need an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And there she is, there in the back. Right next to Agent Phil Coulson, holding the prototype Captain America shield. He's got his identification on there. And the poster you got from the movies when going on the first day to see Endgame. Bucky, I had to cancel my Bucky from Infinity War. I really miss not getting that guy. He had the dissolving arm. I was really looking forward to getting that piece. Just couldn't see the expense of putting him into the collection when all the bills came due. And back here we have Civil War Nick Fury. I wish I had the other Nick Fury also. Not Civil War. Winter Soldier Nick Fury. This is the one where he comes with the arm sling, because he had his arm in really wouldn't call it traction. It was a sling he had. And this is Civil War Ant-Man. So he has a very unique helmet in this movie. And then I've got down here a couple of smaller Ant-Men as they progress. On here, it's a little bitty Ant-Man down there. And on Hawkeye here, this is Avengers Age of Ultron Hawkeye. This is a really cool one. I have him posed backwards to show off his arrows. Right here on the tip of his arrow, it's a third-party little Ant-Man that I bought. He's shooting that over Cap's shoulder at Tony. And I love this Falcon. It's the one that's more red and white compared to the first Falcon that we've seen. I only intended ever to buy just one Falcon. The other character looks, you know, you can't go wrong either way. You know, if you're adding a Falcon to your collection, but this one came with Red Wing. And I've taken a couple of little pieces there and glued them together right there. You see that? to give him the height, and then have a little base. It came with my Nier Automata. That base did. So we have Falcon up there flying with his wings out, with Red Wing above him. And here's Loki. I like this Loki because he has the helmet, and the helmet is really what we want for Loki. And this is from Thor Ragnarok. Other than that, the other Loki that I wish I'd had was the first Loki. And this is a beautiful image of Thor, Chris Hemsworth, with his haircut. Missing the Scarlet Witch of Civil War. Oh yeah. Oh man, Falcon. He's a must-have for your Avengers collection. This Thor actually he lights up here. These light up. They're battery powered, and they are UV'd. And his eyes. So if you put the UV light that came with Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther from Black Panther, that all lights up. It's pretty cool. And then we have Stormbreaker with Groot's arm right here. But all these blue electricity will glow from the UV light if you were to use that. And that's where Hela sat. I hated getting rid of her. I didn't remember how beautiful a piece she was until boxing her up. What an amazing piece. There's Gamora. I think that they have another Gamora coming or something, but I think this is the only Gamora that's been out. I may be wrong, but this is the Gamora I have. Little Groot in his pot. A lot of Groots come with the different figures. This scene never happened. Groot was never in the cage shooting his arms out wearing that outfit. But that's how I decided to pose that little guy. He works. And the one who is holding him is Yondu. I bought 2 of these Yondus. I love the green colors, the blues. I love these alternate skin colors, and Gamora's hot. So I bought 2 Yondus so I could display him, one with the original mohawk, if you will, and then the other one I have down at the bottom with the updated version. I think they did a really good job with Yondu. I need lights over here. Really? Well, because of the need of money, I may sell my second Yondu. I'll have to check that out. I bought 2 of these Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Star-Lords because really the time that had passed between the first movie and second movie was so short. And he came with 2 full-on outfits. So this one is the original conditioned Star-Lord that I have with his helmet on and the short coat right here. Let's see if I can add some light over here. There we go. So that's Star-Lord with the short coat. And then I had the long coat Star-Lord down there with the rest of the newer Guardians. Much better with the light on there, isn't it? And here we have original Groot with Rocket behind him on his shoulder. Love how they set that up to work as such. Little Rocket with Groot on there. Or Rocket on Groot. This is not a hot toy. This is a Crazy Toys, if I remember correctly, Hulk. His color's off. Gosh, I think he was dirt cheap. Under $100. And he 100% works. He's got the Age of Ultron, or Avengers brown pants, which I needed because I missed that Hot Toys figure. I do have the Bruce. Nobody gives Bruce any love. For a long time, you could buy Bruce forever. I bought the Chitauri Soldier, I bought the Chitauri Commander, then I bought the Chitauri Soldier Commander set. So I have 4 Chitauri Warriors over here. And Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy, who is horribly outside of scale in comparison to how Thanos was when they made him for the latter movies, when they totally fleshed him out. Lots of characters played Thanos. Josh Brolin was not the first Thanos. 2 or 3 actors, I believe, were the number. But I love this throne. I love this. It tells the story. So Thanos and the throne works because you don't know how tall he is there, but it works. I have the different ways of displaying these Chitauri. I got him with his little face mask off. Got a couple of the rifles. This one's holding the bomb in his hand, the detonator, with the rifle on his shoulder. This guy's got the spear in his hand. These are my Lady Deaths, Vampirellas, and Nier Automatas, so almost like the Phicen shelf, I guess you could say. There's 2 Lady Deaths that they made. Let me sit down here for a minute. It takes me just a second. So, I have 2 of the original Lady Deaths that I ended up buying by accident. I ended up winning an auction that I didn't think I was going to win. And then I bought one on top of that. So I have the version 2 Lady Death in the middle. I have the version 1 Lady Death on the throne. That throne comes with the version 2 Lady Death. I have the version 2 sword in the version 1 Lady Death hand. And the version 1 sword in the version 2 Lady Death. Lady Death Warrior, I think the second was called. And the figure stands for them have no way of holding the. So literally what you do, there's these little pegs that you put the feet on, maybe little pegs, and the body stands up from that. So I'm quite surprised and impressed that they work so well as such. Same thing with these Vampirellas. I have both Vampirellas. The original one, which was literally called the Asian version, and then the SHCC one that came out on the left. When the Asian version came out, the first question everyone asked was, is there going to be a non-Asian version? And we had no idea. And there was. It's one on the left. These did not come with any way of keeping them on the stand. There's not even the little pegs that Lady Death came with. So they are precariously balanced and positioned on that stand to stand there. And even the slightest motion would probably cause them to fall over. But each suit is just a little bit different. If you notice, the gem versus the jewelry string between the two. So the one on the right was the first Vampirella that came out. One on the left was the second Vampirella that came out. The second one came with like this weird tongue sticking out of her mouth, winking facial figure, which I've never used. The little eagle or whatever it is on the bottom of her outfit on the right is printed on the left is kind of raised 3D-ish. The right one is more clothy. The left one is more vinyl-y. The boots, if I remember correctly, are similar but different. And this is, I think this is the base that came with one of them. And I think this is the base that came with the other one. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Sorry. This base has this hand, which can be put in and out of that hole there. And right here is a Phicen Nier Automata. And I have her standing in the... where did that come from? I think that's a Chitauri base. I bought 2 of these Nier Automatas. So I have 2 of the robots. I know nothing about the character, or I know nothing about her, but I like the white hair. So I bought her because of the white hair, and it came with the pieces, and then I put her in the Phicen body. She came with 2 of these little robots. One I have on the ground, the other one I have flying back here, and I'm using that posing ability on my Red Wing for Falcon. Here's the Deadpool shelf. Love my Deadpool shelf. Love, love, love the Deadpool shelf. So we start from the right here is the Sideshow Deadpool. I'm going to be able to move that table much. And the Sideshow Deadpool gets no love. I think it's a good piece. It's not Hot Toys quality. It's a rendition of like all of the comic video game Deadpools. And because Deadpool exists in all the universes, it works. Because it's the same person in all of them, only not the same person. So you can still buy this brand new. They got them at a really good price. Pick them up if you haven't. If you're a Deadpool fan, you're not going to be disappointed. It comes with lots of pouches. So many pouches on them, it's not even funny. And behind him, I have the Toys Era Colossus, the Steel, version 1 from the first movie, with his little flip-off finger right back there. And this is the one where even the arms, they did such a good job faithfully reproducing this to the movie that they kept the arms out of proper length, because he's from the movie as such. Deadpool, first Deadpool. I've got him holding all the junk. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to go out on the town tonight. Womanizing. Love you all on our chats, and I'll see you all next week. Yeah, and you can come back and watch the channel later. I'm going to go ahead and go through the rest of the stuff. But everything that I get that doesn't really have a place to put currently, I just kind of put it in Deadpool's hands. That chicken, if I remember correctly, came with the Sideshow Deadpool. It may have come with the Lady Death, but I think it came with the Sideshow Deadpool. And here's his unicorn, and Baby Groot, and Advanced Suit Spider-Man, and the collar for Deadpool 2, and lightsaber. Got many of those lightsabers. I love the guns that they make. They did a really good job. And because I'm collecting all the Deadpools, there's a Pikachu Deadpool. Never seen a Pikachu Deadpool anywhere, but I'm sure there would be a Pikachu Deadpool. Of course, there'd have to be, right? This is the Headpool. This came from a Gentle Giant collection of 1/6 scale figures with the dog pool next to him. This is a little Chibi pool right here. The Android. They did a good job with that. I'm not sure what he says there. If any of y'all read, I'm assuming that's Japanese. Let me know what it says. Kid pool back here I've been working on. I've not done anything with him in a very long time. But I took a Gentle Giant bust, turned it into an actual figure. Kid Deadpool right there. Dusty version. Deadpool back here. And I swapped out that belt, because the belt that they gave us with Dusty Deadpool, the buckle itself also was dusty, and it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be shiny. It actually should have been this belt buckle from number 2, which is really shiny, but the one I used was from number 1. It works. I would imagine the absolute shine would have been gone once they dusted him, but it should not have been dusty. I mean, it was gray, the one that Hot Toys sent. And so I've got Deadpool there giving us the finger in the okay, right? Deadpool 2 wall back there. This is a little like Barbie action closet that I bought, where I've put his little robe in there and his training jersey. I've got his Subway token in there, picture of Hugh Jackman that he had stapled to his face. Some of the other things that I have that belong to Deadpool are back in that. Figured why not a pink one? I would truthfully believe Deadpool would have a pink closet. Deadpool 2 right here. This time watch, or whatever you call this, chrono calculator or whatever it is the one that came with the mechanic, the cable figure. The Hot Toys one I did not think was as high a quality as this one, so I put the mechanics on here and gave the mechanic the Hot Toys one. But this is Deadpool 2. No bullets in his chest, whereas Deadpool 1 has the bullets in the chest. Deadpool 2, the suit's been fixed. And the belt buckle is shinier in the first Deadpool, as well as the feet. They're more metallic looking compared to the first Deadpool. There's your difference there. Lady Deadpool, I put the high heels on her. She didn't come with those. Those came with Deadpool 2. She doesn't need them. She looks good with her boots she has. They look very much like Deadpool's boots. And this was called Lady Katana. I forget who made her. I think Toys R Us. Really happy to have that. That's one of the little quotes from the Chibi Pool, the Android. After I waste you, I'm going to go get some sushi. Tape that on the wall back there behind her. I love that Lady Deadpool. And I believe that Deadpool cardboard came from the Android as well. And this is a dog pool. Don't remember who made that. It's a statue, more or less. It doesn't move. And I put in his mouth one of the grenades that come with the Sideshow Deadpool. I also put a grenade in this Gentle Giant head pool over here in his mouth. And there's a better views of the head pool and the dog pool from Gentle Giant. And this is a squirrel pool that came with Gentle Giant. Right there. And of course, that's the collection that I used to make the kid pool. So that head sculpt was part of the whole bust, as well as the little chest piece that I glued to his chest. That was all part of the Gentle Giant. Those hands belong to Lady Katana, Lady Deadpool, and those swords came with the Gentle Giant figure that I put in those hands. They had like these hard molded pieces on the back, the little strings that hang out of the back of the handles. I pulled those out and actually put yarn in there. So that's yarn hanging from that. Here's the Steel 2, as he is properly movie. He is properly proportioned here in the character as well. Good job with that. That's not silver on his mohawk or his flat top. The don't know why it's coming across like it is. It's not. It's actually properly painted. It's just the way the camera's screwing with it. I like that. It's just, here comes Deadpool, another little voice quote that came with the Android. So that's the Steel 2. Specifically, mostly he's properly proportioned. He's more muscularly defined, and the belt is different. And the pants are like shiny compared to cloth. If you're a Deadpool fan, if you're a Colossus fan, you can't go wrong with that Colossus. This is the head pool that came with Sideshow Deadpool, and this was called the Mechanic, but it's cable, and I think they did a really good job with it. They made two versions of it, one with the glowing eye. Bought the glowing eye one. Wasn't necessary. If you were to get the one that doesn't glow, you'll be just as pleased with the figure. And that's cable. Right down here we have Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's Yondu. I took both of his little pink trails of his arrow and wrapped it all around. I connected two of them from both pieces in order to be able to do that. And I think it turned out very well. I'm really pleased with that. All right, next thing we have Star-Lord with Baby Groot on his shoulder, holding a cassette tape in his hand with a long coat. Or the one up on the top shelf is a short coat. And there we have Rocket with Baby Groot on his shoulder. And then Teenage Groot right down there. Teenage Groot doesn't seem to get much love from anybody. Don't know why. And behind all these boxes, this is a Scarlet Spider I have listed on sale. Never been opened. Brand new. It's on eBay. This is a Peter B. Parker that I'm trying to build. Right here. Maybe I'll put that together. We have Doctor Strange. First Doctor Strange. And I glued his hands down. Bought an extra set of hands just to be able to put his left hand into that position. I keep gluing down that ring finger, that pinky finger, and it keeps popping up. And right here is Thanos, and he needs some light. See if we can get some light down here. There we are. So yeah, I bought an extra set of hands just to be able to put that hand into the proper position for his casting of his spells. And I folded the fingers down and glued them down, the pinky and the ring finger, and they keep popping up. You can see little glue marks on that, but I will glue them back down again. Hot Toys never gave us that hand, but it's how his hand is in order to be able to cast. The book is really neat. There's many pages in there that have incantations on them. Unlike the Spider-Man book, the physics book, which had like 1 or 2 pages that's repeated throughout the whole thing. This has several pages, 10 or 15 pages, don't know exactly what the number is, that are then repeated throughout the book. That book is really neat. I ended up losing out on the second Doctor Strange. I put the pre-order price down on it, paid my deposit. Sideshow tried to run it. They always run it without telling me they're going to run it. And I didn't have the, whatever, $250 in the account at the time to pay for it. So they canceled it. And they kept the deposit, little bastards. Someone at Sideshow really hates me. So here we have Thanos. I've got the Mark 50 glove in his Infinity Gauntlet to keep him from snapping his fingers. And here's the Mark 50. I have him with his power boost. Came with the accessories. The accessory pack was really expensive for what they gave you. But if you're a nut like me, you know, it's almost a requirement. Now, don't remember where that background came from. I think it came from Thanos. He's got 2 different display bases, just like they did with Captain America. You can either display him with the one base or with the planet. And it's shifted a little bit, but I put the planet base on there, just like I did with Captain America. This Black Widow from in Infinity War looks really good. There's a collector out there. She made her look just like Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow. She fixed the hair, she dyed the hair, and it looks beautiful. And I tell myself I'm going to try to do that same thing. And here's Captain America back here with his spears from the characters that we're never going to get, the Black Order, with his shield. And the shield, you'll see on the bottom, is displayed in the retracted way, and this shield up at the top is displayed in the expanded way. So you can display the shield in both ways. Came the left and the right shield. And there's a little, I forget what they call those little monsters, runner, what are they called? Anyhow, there's a monster that's wrapped around Outrider, his legs down there. And so that's bearded Captain America. Right over here we have a little RC Indy car. It's got a bunch of junk from the ceiling on them. And one of these days, I'm going to try to make look just like the car that, or Monaco. I don't know, Formula One, Indy, Monaco. I don't know what the difference between those are. There is a difference, and you guys that follow the sport would crucify me for not knowing the difference or calling it the wrong one. Grand Prix, Monaco, Formula One, Indy. I don't know what the differences are, but I intend to make this a Tony Stark car one of these days. And right here, I just put these over here. This is a Phicen I'm going to be using for the Mantis when that finally gets here. And this is a little, pretty close to 1/6 scale 2010 Camaro like what I own. I fully intend to having this painted and striped like my Bumblebee. So here we have some accessories. There's a Mark 50 winged accessory. Just do my light on the ground. There's a little winged accessory that goes in his back. Like I said, I wish I had 2 or 3 Mark 50s just to be able to display all of his stuff. And there's some, I forget what the name of that guy was, that the mask that they had to burn in the eternal flame to bring him back to life. This is my Mary Jane. I'm not sure what to do with her hair. I also wish that she was smiling. I'm not too pleased with that head sculpt. I love the hair, love the color. I bought this Red Sonja specifically to make a Mary Jane, and that's as far as I've gotten with her. And here we have the Mark IV diecast. I have him sitting Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to step out of the donut pose, holding his little donut and his coffee, little helmet, his glasses. And the diecaster did a really great job portraying it. What's so funny is people love the Mark VI, and they don't so much care for the Mark IV. The only difference being the round versus the triangular shaped arc reactor, and the paint scheme is just a little bit differently. Other than that, exact same piece. With the lights in his body, this Mark IV really lights up beautifully. And behind there, we have the Mark 41 Retro. So the Mark 41 original is black and gold, or kind of, not really black, graphite and gold. And then they made a red and gold colored one, and he's chromed, so he's really shiny. And that was a SDCC release, if I remember correctly. Really turned out really well that they made this, and I'm happy to have that. This is Mark 22 Hot Rod, which is the same piece as the Iron Patriot. I just spiked my back. Give me a second. With a star cut into his chest, and I custom made that helmet. We'll stand up. Give me a minute. I custom made this head sculpt. So I believe, oh, my back. I believe if I remember correctly, it came from a Mark 33 Silver Centurion. This head sculpt did, and then I put it inside an extra Mark 22 Hot Rod helmet that I bought specifically to customize. And the helmet will close. And the magnet and all that. I'm not going to do it because I only have just one hand, but all that will close right up. If we can get that to focus in here. Come on. There we go. I'm really pleased with my helmeted head sculpts that I made. It works beautifully. But this is the same, they essentially made 4 of these exact same suits. Real easy for Hot Toys. Mark 22 Hot Rod is the same as the Iron Patriot, is the same as the Mark II War Machine, and the Mark II War Machine New Avenger. So, exact same outfit. I think one of those don't have the star in his chest. I don't remember. And this is the Mark 21 Chrome. Probably one of the favorite pieces. They redid the Mark 21 for the opening of Disney Shanghai, and they chromed it. And oh my God, it came out beautifully. Mark 23 Shades, I don't have him in a Hall of Armor. I have him on a Mark 1 display stand. And he's digitally camouflaged. Same as the Mark 40 shotgun. Except the Mark 40 shotgun comes with a head sculpt of Tony in there. This one, the head sculpt does not open. And the Mark 40 shotgun has battle damage pieces. This one does not. Really beautiful piece when it lights up. And the Mark 20 Python. Again with the head sculpt that I fabricated using the Mark 33. And again, it will close down tight. Really good looking piece. One of the first ones that I bought. And over here we have a Mark 15 retro, which again, the original Mark 15 is black and silver. So they made the red and gold one and chromed it out, and it looks really sweet. So I had the Mark 41 and the Mark 15 originals up on top with the Iron Men as they came out in Iron Man 3. And this is the Mark 9. They shipped this with the Pepper Potts, telling us that this was the armor that she used to destroy Killian, and it is not. She actually used the Mark 8, which they never gave us. This is the Mark 9. What I like about him is he's kind of satin. The red is kind of a satin. There's no shine on it. It's more of an orange instead of the red with blue in it. Really unique looking figure. Really like him. This one and the Mark 20 are essentially the same, except the pelvic region is different. The pelvis on the Mark 9 is of the Mark 17 Heartbreaker, whereas the pelvis on the Mark 20 is from the Mark 7 figure. So top Mark 7, bottom Mark 17, bottom Mark 17, top Mark 7, and this pelvis is the Mark 17 pelvis, the Heartbreaker. And down here I have, let's sit back down. Some 50 accessories, a Thanos arm, a little lockpick set, picking locks, a little orange pin, I don't know why it's there, it's paper junk, a Mark 42 that I customed the helmet on, literally cut the helmet totally out and just made it empty. Two pieces we got like that, the Mark 47 and the Mark II Armor Unleashed, came without heads in the helmets. And back there is a Mark 27 Disco, which is a Mark 7 and a Mark 40 shotgun. And I think the arms are from War Machine. I don't remember. And this is a Bullet Head, the Poison, an unbelievable likeness of Venom. This is the Venom that we know and love. I really like the Venom from the new movie. It's properly told in the way of the creation to the universe that we're doing for the movies, but it's not the classic Venom that we know and love. This is the classic Venom that we know and love. And I got him, he's actually floating above that. He's out to get you. That's the base that it comes with. I had to modify that base a bit in order to be able to use this figure stand to hold him. But oh my God, this guy is amazing. Look at that. Look at those teeth and that tongue. Let's get just focus in on this. Look at that. Oh man. That's unbelievable. That'll give you nightmares. Right back there we have the Mark 36 Peacekeeper. Peacemaker. I forget now which one it is. Peacemaker, Peacekeeper. I think Peacekeeper. Same thing as the Mark 35 only comes with the Mark 7 and 17. And over here is the 6 and Mark 25, Thumper and Gamma. Figure just painted different suit. There's my Poison from Street Fighter, which is the same outfit that I use for my Mary Jane. Thor Ragnarok, which is a really cool Thor. I love this Thor. I don't know if you talked about this. A three-party company is making a 1/6 scale Jerome from Spider-Man Far From Home. I will be buying 1 or 2 for Mysterio. Sweet. I have not seen that. Who is selling that? Was it just a sneak peek that you seen like on Facebook or Instagram or something? Or did you is someone actually selling it right now? I wish they would sell just the drone. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to hear that they are planning on doing that. We got Thor Ragnarok and Gladiator Hulk, which will be the closest that we'll get ever to the Hulk Planet Hulk. If you're a Hulk fan, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to get the Gladiator Hulk. And you don't have to display him with his head, with this helmet. It comes with the ability to display him with his head. So you don't have to gladiator him out if you want to just turn him into a regular Hulk, except the feet. He has to have his little sandals. If you buy this Hulk, you can ungladiator him to some degree, but not totally. But you can put his regular head on. And right here is the Mark 24 tank, which is the same thing as the Mark 17 Heartbreaker, only painted brown and gold and silver. And he came with this chest blast, where the repulsor is just shooting out a huge blast. And right here is the Mark 38 Igor. He just stands here. And it's funny, when they made him, he literally is crafted in such a way that I believe as Hot Toys was just designing this figure, they just took a regular, whatever, let's just say Mark 7, threw it in their CAD 3D program, and then just stretched him to 16 and a half inches tall or whatever he is instead of the 12 inches tall, and stretched everything to that same parameter. So what ended up happening is all the battery compartments are huge. It uses the exact same batteries as they use with most of the other Iron Man figures, but the battery compartments are huge because, like I said, in my opinion, they just took a 12-inch figure and stretched it to 16 inches, which stretched everything, including the cavity for the battery that powers up the lights. So it's pretty funny when you open them up to put batteries in them, you have these huge holes to put the batteries, and the batteries just slop around in there. So that's my opinion as to what happened. On him, the little shoulder pieces can pop up. You can display them high or low. And on the back, he has the articulated spine. You aren't going to be able to see that here. But in the movie, you remember when he goes to support the giant crane mechanism or whatever that is, he has to lock that spine down. It's click, 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 click as the spine locks into place, and you can recreate that with this piece. One thing, by the way, on this Mark 36, Igor just reminded me of that. All these little stickers, they didn't come on the piece. They came on a sheet, and you had to place the stickers onto the figure. I never understood that. So I think that's how they're supposed to go. I don't know exactly. Same thing with the Mark 41. The Mark 41 you can disassemble. WRJ-UAV-01 drone, TNS figures, and Giant Toy has it up for pre-order. Nice. Nice. Anyhow, as these arms could be taken off because the Mark 41 was the prototype prehensile suit, even though the 42 is truthfully the prototype prehensile suit. The Mark 41 was the first one that came apart in pieces and flew to him. Again, they gave you stickers for the arms and the legs to disassemble them to have them put into different places. So you had to put stickers on there. And it kind of bothered me. I never really understood the need for me to have to put figures, Hot Toy figures, together. You know what I mean? It's not a model that I'm buying. I would assume they would have put the stickers on. I don't know why they didn't put the stickers on. Maybe because by putting them on there through them sitting around for a long time, the stickers may have fallen off. That might be why they did that. So I'm standing up here. It takes me just a minute. This is the Hulkbuster 2. Again, another figure which hasn't gotten a lot of love. I love it. It's a power pose figure, so it's limited in its articulation. So I think I've seen a review for one of the Predator figures from 2008, and you had to put it together. I put the clothes on and all of that. Oh, you're kidding me. That's crazy. That's crazy. 1/6 scale arcade pieces that I bought. I have a Tempest and a Centipede, and they work. 100% they work very well. You can either use the knob that is to scale, or you can use a knob that allows you to play the piece. I put the scale knob on. It doesn't work exactly like the Tempest did, the real Tempest, but doggone, it's the same game. Love it. And here's the Mark 7 in the Hall of Armor. Mark 6 in the Hall of Armor. Mark 5, original Mark 5 in the Hall of Armor. Mark 4 in the Hall of Armor. That's an invisible Mark 3, by the way. It's invisible, you can't see it. Mark 2, Hall of Armor. Die-cast Mark 2 is right there with the open helmet that came with that. So the Armor Unleashed and the Mark II diecast both come with with open helmets. So I guess 3 times they did it. Armor Unleashed, Mark II diecast, and the Mark 47. And there's my Mark 1. It's the only one they haven't made in diecast yet. I anticipate it to be announced soon. And there's the Centipede, which again lights up and plays just like the game, the original game, if you remember that. They did a great job with that. Very close to 1/6 scale. I think it's just a little bit off. They call it 1/6, but I don't think it is. The only pepper pots they made, I wish they made more. This pepper has aged beautifully, and I think they could really do a really good job on this if they re-release pepper. They really need to. They need to give us a new pepper. And you can display her barefoot, flat-footed, if you wish, as well, instead of in her high heels. This Obadiah that I made, that head sculpt came with the Ironmonger, and I put him on a suit and a body. And that's Tony testing out the Mark 42. This is not actually the scene that we see in the movie, but it's a scene that you can create off of the pieces that they gave you. I've often thought about making him more movie accurate, but he's fine the way he is. I have dummy and a U back there. This is the dummy without the wheels, which was the first couple of movies, I think. Third movie, I believe he had wheels on him. And there's U with the wheels. Up here, I bought a second set of Hall of Armor for the War Machines. I would assume that Rhodey would be keeping the War Machines in some type of Hall of Armor as well. This is a Mark III diecast that I was commissioned to repaint into a Mark II diecast. I drilled the little rivets in it, hand drilled those, well, with a power drill, and then painted it. And the customer kept making changes on how he wanted them to be posed. So I had to keep repainting it, kept repainting it. And then the paint was so thick on it, it's just constantly stayed sticky. I couldn't deliver it to the customer. And through embarrassment, I refunded his money and kept the figure. And I hate that I did that, and I hate that I had to keep repainting it. But in a sense, what happened anyhow was Rhodey stole the Mark II, took it to Hammer. Hammer turned it into the Mark I, and then in a comic adaptation comic that they gave us, which was a prequel to Iron Man 3, Tony disassembles the War Machine Mark I, takes the Mark II back, and then presents Rhodey with the War Machine Mark II, which we never seen in any of the movies, but that's what this one is with the red around the chest there. Now we know that obviously this would have happened then after he had made the Mark 21 Hot Rod or thereabouts, because that's how it's fashioned. I would imagine the Hot Rod was the test for it, because the Hot Rod doesn't come with the laser on the shoulder. And then we have the Iron Patriot, which we actually did see in the movie. And I did not make these head sculpts. It came with these head sculpts. And this is the new Avengers War Machine Mark II that we've seen at the end of Captain America Civil War. We also seen Scarlet Witch. And that's the War Machine Mark III right there. All the way up at the top, we have the Black Panther, T'Chaka. We have Black Panther as the king in the throne, and we have Shuri all the way up at the top. And the Black Panther is lit up with the UV light, which is the only way he really looks cool. Without that light, he's kind of a boring figure. But when you light him up, he really turns into an amazing looking piece. And then, of course, the Hulkbuster. What an amazing piece of art they created with this figure. Took like what, 3 years before we finally got him. So up here we have the Iron Men as they were revealed to us in Iron Man 3. The Heartbreaker was the first one that came out, and then they started lining up beside him in this order. So we have, to the right of Heartbreaker, we have Mark 40 shotgun and the Mark 35 red snapper. I customized that red snapper. His arms are articulated. The little pieces slide out. His little pinchers. And his waist moves. The figure does not come articulated in his waist or with sliding arms. I articulated that one. Mark 39 Star Boost, an amazing piece. Comes with 2 different kinds of helmets. And the Mark 33 Silver Centurion. Mark 15. Mark 30 Blue Steel. And the original Mark 7 Midas. And here's the original Mark 41 with them all disassembled into different pieces. So these flames I've added to the figures. Most of them I actually bought a second, actually on all of these, I bought a second set of hands and feet to be able to glue these flames into them. I bought these flames separately and added them. There are collectors that hate the flames. I love the flames. I think they look great. So I bought extra feet and hands and glued those to them. The Mark 41 bones, those are the flames that came with him. This is like the Grail shelf. I have the Mark III here on eBay for sale. I would hate to see that go, but if you want him, he is for sale. All these are for sale, by the way. Mark IV, right here. There's an interview that Robert Downey Jr. did at his house with his wife, Susan. And he's playing with his Mark III. So he owns one of these right there. He has one of these guys. And you see it in his hands as he's posing it, playing with it, talking about it. Mark III Stealth on the left. Mark IV Neon and Mark VI Neon. And they kind of glow when you put the UV light on them. Mark 7's over here. You got the chocolate / stealth and the white chocolate / subarctic, if I remember correctly. And then a second stealth back there transitioning as he's actually dissolving away. It's the invisible suit. Here's the Mark 5s. I have this Mark 5 diecast listed on eBay for sale. That is a unbelievable piece of engineering. This Mark 5 diecast is. Let's shine the light up here. See if we can get a little light up here. Maybe, maybe no. An amazing piece right there, that Mark 5 is. Hot Toys did not make this, so I think this was very cool toys. Made that suit. There's been a couple people that made the suit. I'm happy to have it. So I've got multiples of these suitcases. I have 3 Mark 5s, I believe. And then I bought this, don't remember who made this expandable suit case. It's pretty cool. Tells the story of him going from race car driver to Iron Man Mark V. And we have an original Mark V up against Whiplash 1. was that actor's name? Slips me. But there they are. And here is the Spider-Man. Right back here is a re-edit Iron Spider, which looks just like the comics. And then we have the Iron Spider next to it from Game. And that's a piece that's not getting any love from any of you collectors. Don't know why. No. Lost our signal there for a second. Anyhow, I wish I had two of them. One to display as the Iron Spider and one to display without the Iron Spider. Kind of in the way he was presented to Peter Parker at the end of Civil War. And there's the homemade suit, which I have on sale, for sale. The advanced suit, which is a really neat looking piece. The advanced suit is in nowhere other than the PS4 game. They made that suit specifically for the PS4. So it's not a comic book suit at all. There's just the PS4 version of the Scarlet Spider. His little ninja feet. Right down there. And here's the Spider Punk, or Punk Spider. With the second guitar, the original guitar that they shown us was a different guitar. I imagine somebody complained. So they had to change his guitar out. Thought about recreating that original guitar that they showed us we were going to get. And this is the movie promo edition that I took the Civil War Spider-Man accessories and put together. So that is a rendition of Spidey. There's Electro, another piece that gets no love from anybody. I like it. From Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? I have him on a Chitauri base. And here we have the concept art Captain America with both shields. And let's get this light up here. The Red Skull, and which comes with this head sculpt, and then I built that uniform to be movie accurate. And it's so hard to find these pieces because they figure if you collect that you must be a Nazi, and I'm not a Nazi or a racist. It's Johann Schmidt. You had to have the evil Johann Schmidt and the Red Skull, because they're really two different people. He became the Red Skull. He was Johann Schmidt, and he became the Red Skull. It's like Peter Parker and Spider-Man, right? Here's my Wasp and Ant-Man shelf. So there's the original Ant-Man from the first movie with different variations of him shrinking down. All the way down to the little guy there. See if I can bring this light over here. There you are. Let's see how small he gets with the little Hyundai that they made for the movie. Promo for the Ant-Man and Wasp movie. And that's a King Arts Ant-Man 1/9 scale. And they are definitely not the quality of Hot Toys. No doubt about it. But he's 1/9 scale, which it works, because that's what you show. And there's a Marvel Select, I think, Ant-Man in there, and then the orange one, which is really poor quality. I forget who made that. This is a King Arts Yellow Jacket. Hot Toys promised us a Yellow Jacket. Hot Toys did not make us a Yellow Jacket. I wish they would. A lot of figures Hot Toys shows and then just doesn't make. And King Arts just isn't the quality of Hot Toys. And this is a really good Ant-Man and Wasp. Really like this scaled out. Very well colored, very well lined. Very nice quality. Don't remember who made it. Sorry. And this is a not so good quality. So this quality is much better than this setup. I'm going to sit down here. Give me just a quick moment. Here's my astromech shelf. Protocol droids. As such. Let's get this to focus. Oh, there goes my back. Come on, focus in. There we go. So all of these are made by, except the two outside C-3POs. The one on the left is a very old, like 1978 C-3PO, and the one on the right is 1997, I think, C-3PO. All these astromechs are sideshow except the R2-D2, the whitest one, dead center. The one on of the three R2-D2s. This one is. These two are both sideshow deluxe. This one is the exclusive version, is the white legs. This one is the deluxe non-exclusive version, which has the brown legs. But other than that, they're both the deluxe figures. The exclusive one comes with 3 additional arms, which I've then put into the other astromechs because the prototype one and this, I forget the name of the CB25 or something like that, doesn't come with the little arms, so I put those in there that came with the exclusive version astromech, just like the R2Q. So he did not come with an arm. So the deluxe versions both came with 3 arms, and then the exclusive version came with 3 additional arms. So you see the exclusive version there, I have in him multiple arms. So these guys here aren't designed to their little, these little, I'm not sure what you call them. These arms aren't designed to open. This one I opened up. I had to modify that to get it to do that. And it's not designed to, but it can be done. So you can open those guys up if you feel so inclined. If you feel so inclined. And this was just a real inexpensive, under $20 C-3PO, and it looks great. All nice and shiny. And my Star Wars shelf continues to here with a array that I made out of a Phicen figure. And I think I did a really good job with that. Really pleased with that. Both BB-8s. The first BB-8 you could only get by buying the Ray, which is why I have Ray. I would not have ever bought a Ray elsewise. So it came with the BB-8. That's how I look at that. That's why I had no problem customizing her. I would sell her in a heartbeat. And I was working on her feet too, giving her boots that actually laced up. So one of them I made, the other one I did not. So the 2 BB-8s, the one on the left was the original one that's brownish, and then the one on the right is the new one, which is orange, which came with the flame that flips up. So I never understood why we didn't get the flame in the first one. It just didn't make any sense. But the flame came with the second one. And BB-9E. So when you bought the BB-8, the second version, you could either buy him with the BB-9 or you can buy him separate. I bought both of them. The BB-9E lights up. That's it. That's all he does. It's kind of a boring figure. R5-D4 and R5-J2, I don't remember. The little mouse droid. And then I have some stormtroopers. This one in the front is Medicon, which essentially is just like the sideshow. think before Sideshow was making them, Medicon was making them. Even the boxing is the same as the Sideshow ones. But I intend to have 5 Stormtroopers to surround that Landspeeder. The other 2 in the back, I think, are Hasbro's. I don't remember. They're not this quality of the front one. But for fillers, they work. They were under $100 a piece. The Medicon, I think, was $200. I don't remember. So when you're having to buy 5 Stormtroopers instead of spending, let's say, $250 to $300 a piece on them, just for filler pieces, you know, instead of having $1,500 of Stormtroopers, you can have them for under $1,000 for 5 of them. And then continuing down on just this shelf, we have the Ultrons and Stan Lee. And Stan, the man I've put for sale on eBay. I have him signing an Infinity Gauntlet. Figured that was a neat way to display him. It looks really great. And so there's the from the Iron Legion to the Ultron, the different transitions of him. That's what that is. And then over here is the Mark 45, Mark 46 concept art, and the I call it the Quantum Realm. Well, because it's not, but it's the suit that he wore in game as they're traveling around in time. So I have him on the rubble. That's a base rubble, so that'd be the proper rubble that Tony would be standing on. That Tony came with that head sculpt, and it's not a very good head sculpt. It's an okay. It's Tony, but it's not Tony. So, but it works. It's a good looking suit. I'm glad I bought it, and I'm glad I have it. And of course, RD5 and Mark 46 concept art back there. That's the Age of Ultron Deluxe Hulk. What you see back there, that body that comes with that. With the Loki that I made, you bought the suit. Keep reconnecting here to keep dropping out the signal. But I wish Hot Toys has made one. So without Hot Toys making one, I have one and I love it. And that's the Mark 6 diecast right next to him. And that is a really nice figure. Mark 4 diecast, Mark 6 diecast, same piece, just different chest. Arc reactor and chest piece and paint scheme. And there's Daredevil from Netflix. I wish I'd gotten me a Punisher. I really wish I'd gotten the Frank Castle from Netflix. It'd been perfect in my collection. And then down here are some pieces that won't really match together, but they are there. Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin. They really did a terrible job trying to discount him as being the Mandarin. They should have left him as the Mandarin. I didn't like Adrian being the Mandarin. It just was stupid. Right next to him is a Daphne and Velma from Scooby-Doo. You know, childhood crush, I guess you would say. Daphne is in a Phicen body, and Velma is in the body that, I don't know how to say her name, but from Game of Thrones, Daenerys, the queen or princess or whatever that had the dragons. And this is a 300 Leonidas, not by Hot Toys, but by Ace, I think. And then I have his little slave girl next to him. My little slave. And the others are in the other room. So we will head over there. Of course, we have Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise. Now move into the other room. Show you off the rest of the collection. And that will be the room tour. Some stuff I'm selling. Gwen. I haven't put these old used Nike Cortez up. Got the Silver Centurion box that we'll be selling. I think someone's got the parts. Got a brand new pair of Forrest Gump Cortez Classics for sale. They're the wrong size. So they've never been worn. And in this room, the office, have the other pieces. So we'll start at the top. Avengers Age of Ultron. There's the Hulk. Mark 43. Quicksilver. One of the sexiest Scarlett Johansson Black Widows that they made. Age of Ultron. Her hair has gone totally frizz. It needs to be tamed. Sexy Scarlet Witch back there. Elizabeth Olsen. Sexy Thor with his hair. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Evans. Captain America. Let's see if we can show you these on this side too. Don't know why this house was designed with this room like this. I think it was supposed to be like a... There you can see there's a witch. And Thor. And there's the Ultron Prime. They never gave us the full-on Prime. He should have more pieces on him. This is what Hot Toys gave us. He lights up red, his chest does. There's an Ironmonger. It opens up. Really neat piece. Quite an endeavor that Hot Toys attempted in making this. Every one of them have bad joints at the thighs. Every one of them have cracked here on both of the legs. If you have one that hasn't, I imagine it's only a matter of time before it does. I've not seen one that hasn't cracked up as such. Really piece. I have a Mark III diecast posed up against him, fighting on, I think that's a Mark 40. What is that? 45 base. Come on, focus in. You kidding me? You're not going to focus for me? Three. It worked, in my opinion, because it's like a road stripe there, and there was a big battle on the street. Him and Ironmonger. Shanghai version. It's more orangish. On this orangish, whereas the other Mark 6 is bluish. Most of the reds have blue in them. The Shanghais have orange in them. In the red. This is a King Arts 1/9 scale gantry, but I swear to you, it is 1/6 scale. The gantry is the size of his landing area, and he lands in the area that is this big around. Okay? So he lands on that giant circle. The circle then lifts up, comes towards him as he walks down the steps, and as soon as he walks down the steps, then it expands into larger, and it gets bigger. So this would be the scale of it as he lands before it expands to totally encompass him. So I swear to you, this is a 1/6 scale. More accurately than the 1/6 scale that was made. In my opinion, if you want a 1/6 scale gantry from the Avengers, this is the one that you want. He had to use the gantry for the Mark II, the Mark III, the Mark IV, and the Mark VI. He had to have a gantry for all of those. So anytime he put one of those suits on, he had to use a gantry. We didn't see him putting on the Mark VI gantry in the gantry in Iron Man 2 when he put the Mark VI on, but he had to. There was a scene that they deleted from the movies where he hopped out of it. So that never happened. He required a gantry from him. They were not an easy entrance-exit suit. The Mark VII was. That was the first one, easy entry-exit. So Canon is on these at the gantry. And this is the gantry he had in his house, and it was also portable. One thing that we don't see was what gantry he had on the helicarriers. Whether it was this, or that, or something totally different. But obviously, suiting up, we see him going after the suit, and it's in like a hall of armor, but we don't actually see him putting it on. But obviously, we know he had to have a gantry. So on the left is a Mark 4 in the gantry from the Exposition, which is the white base. And then the checkered base is from the garage. And that's a Mark II Armor Unleashed that I have in there. So you can literally put any of these suits in that gantry. 2, 3, 4, and 6, they would all be accurate. It would all be accurate. The one for the garage is dirty. The one from the Expo is clean. This is the original release Mark IV gantry. Original release gantry. And this is the re-release gantry. I think. Hold on. Trying to remember. Because one of them, you can flip over these to make them white or black, and the other one you not. So I don't remember now which one is which. Sorry. The original one you could flip over, the re-release you could not. So I don't remember which one of these is which. I don't remember if I hybrided them out. But in order for you to have the white one from the Expo, it'd have to be the original gantry. And here I have the helmet being held as such. And here I have just the faceplate being held as such. And this one is magnetic from the original. And this Armor 2 R Unleashed is not magnetic, so I have it just kind of resting on there. But the Armor Unleashed piece, you could show him the insides of his pieces and put the different boots on him. So that's how I have that displayed as it's being put together. Wish I had lights on this, it would be so much nicer. And then to round out the collection, the last of the pieces is the Iron Man 2 with Whiplash. And Whiplash 2 and the War Machine Mark 1 die cast. It's the only War Machine Mark 1 I have. I didn't have any of the original War Machine Mark 1s, so I was happy they re-released them. And when I've taken the time, I have the whips around their necks like they're supposed to be. Somehow the whips fell down. I never wrapped them back around the neck and had them holding them onto them and all that. So they've been repositioned just a bit. But that's a plastic Mark 6 right there. Battle damage looks really good. I wish I had a light on that. I'm sorry, guys. And the Whiplash 2, I took a Whiplash 1 head sculpt that I bought and put on there. Because what they give you is a faceplate on a helmet, which he never did. Either the head was fully exposed or fully covered. So I did it fully opened with a Whiplash 1 head sculpt. And that's not even accurate because he had his hair like in a ponytail. And this is the War Machine Mark 1 diecast. What an amazing, amazing, amazing piece. So that's the whole collection. Guys, thanks for spending Saturday with me. I really appreciate and love everyone. Thank you for that Jean-Luc Picard. Oh, I'm blown away by that. What was I told that was coming? Something I've got coming. Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter's on her way. I've got a Peggy, third-party SSR Peggy on the way. So hopefully she'll be here for next week. If not, maybe we'll build Peter B. Parker from the little pieces I have from that. Or anything else that pops up. You guys control the channel. So thanks for stopping in. Help me out with Patreon if you like. Throw $1 my way every month. I would really appreciate that. It's so funny selling these pieces on eBay. eBay takes 10%. They have a listing fee of like $3. They take 10% of the sale. So if you sell it for $300, they take $30. If you charge $20 in shipping and it literally costs you $20 in shipping, they charge you $2 for that too. So you're spending part of your own money in shipping to send out to the customer who bought it. And then, of course, PayPal, which is also owned by eBay, they charge you another 2.9% of the total money that's sent. So after it's all said and done, a $400 figure that you sold, you end up taking like $350. So they end up taking $50 out of a $400 figure. So everyone's like, oh, well, I can beat you up a few bucks here. Hell, eBay's totally beating you up on that. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You have to mark the figure up so much in order to be able to compensate for the money that eBay's taken. It's crazy. Anyhow, like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. And I will see you guys on the next video next week. Thanks very much. I love you guys. See ya. Bye.